Hi, I'm Christa Jacobson, Headmistress of the Budo Ryu Kai, and today I would like to make a quick video and talk to you guys about the new upcoming book, KAGE-NO-SHO, which means Book of Shadows. Now this particular book is an esoteric or kind of a deeper look into the arts of Budo Ryu Ninjutsu, which is the art that we teach here at the Budo Ryu Kai. Now, even though this book is definitely geared for the students of the Budo Ryu Kai, that doesn't mean someone who is a general enthusiast of the ninja and samurai arts will not get anything out of it. Far from it. There's a lot of things in this book that can benefit anyone who studies the ninja and samurai martial arts, ninjutsu, bujutsu, so on and so forth. The book consists of about 7 chapters, and I say about 7 chapters because there's more to this book than just chapters. But we do have 7 chapters in the book. The first chapter is Kuden, which means verbal transmission. The second chapter is Nana Musha-den, which is the 7 warrior traditions of the Budo Ryu Kai. The third chapter is Gendai Henka Waza, which are the modern variation techniques that we study here at the Budo Ryu Kai. The Hojo and Do, which is supplemental training that we have here within our school. The next chapter is going to be Nihon Mushikyu, which is the study of the scrolls, historical documents, densho, etc., etc. The next chapter is going to be Seshin Teki Kyoyo, which means spiritual refinement. And the last chapter is going to be Hiden, or secret transmission. Those are the 7 chapters of the book. Now, after the 7 chapters, we do have kind of like a photo gallery, if you will, or a photo index, where I share a lot of the photos of specific scrolls and specific things that I talk about within the 7 chapters. That's what I mean. There's more to the book than just the 7 chapters themselves. Now, the reason the pictures don't go along with what's written is because the book is handwritten journal by myself. So this isn't going to be some nice typed out, in Times Roman font or something like that, where you guys can just pick up the book and it all flows. The book itself was written every day after class or during class, but generally after class. I like to write down my thoughts of training, things that might have happened between me and some of my students in the online Ninjutsu Dojo, my students here, maybe my personal students, myself, my personal training, life itself, things that I found through my own personal research that may be kind of apart from the Budo Ryu Kai or the curriculum of Budo Ryu Ninjutsu. Those things, those inner workings that are part of what it is that we do, that's what this book is about. And I keep a journal. And when I would feel something, or I'm like, God, why don't the people know we're doing this? Is there something about this that everyone needs to know? So the deeper meaning behind the meaning, or the essence behind what it is that you're doing, is what this book is about. The Kuden chapter talks about the things that I feel every student needs to know about the school. I think students who've been here for a long time, they'll go through the Kuden chapter, and I think probably maybe a good third of it, if they train with me as a personal student, they've definitely heard some of those things before, but I think they're important, and I think it's something that they need to have. The other 2/3, I'm not quite for sure if they have. When you get into the 5 chapters that kind of cover the Goho no Keiko, the 5 areas of our school, of the Budo Ryu Kai, I talk about points, and each one of these points is a very deep, a very philosophical meaning towards what it is that we're doing, why we're doing what we're doing, and how you should be doing what it is that we're doing to help you get on the path, the way, right? What it is that your goals are in life, and help you use the martial art training of ninjutsu and bujutsu to help you catapult yourself into finding the way. And the way is different from all of us. That's why we should just say the way, right? Because that's what that means. So each one of these chapters, whether it's Nana Musha-den, Gendai Henka Waza, Hojo and Do, Nihon Mushikyu, or Seshin Teki Kyoyo, those 5 chapters are going to have 25 points that I think are very important that every student needs to know. Now, the book itself, if you guys read the book and maybe you see something or you read something that may or may not correlate with something that you thought you have studied or learned before, then you definitely got the lesson previous wrong. This book is to make sure that the students can have a strong philosophical base of what it is that we do. It's not a technical book. We have other books for that. You guys can go buy the Shinobi no Beach. the Tomoru Shoden no Maki, Kokoro Kenpo Heiho Sho, Budo Ryu Kai Jikiden, the Budo Ryu Kai Shinobi Zukan. I've wrote many books. You guys can get those books if you like to look for more technical things, how to, knowledge about specific techniques, knowledge about specific traditions, the history and tradition of the Ryuha that we have. All those books cover things like that. This book itself is the essence of what we do as a whole. It's like an example. If I had 7 tools on the table, instead of a book for this tool and a book for this tool and a book for this tool and everything about the tool, right? Its history, its tradition, it's the way that you use it, the way you can apply it. Those would be all the other books that I've written, okay? And generally, except for the Shinobi no Michi, but the Shinobi no Michi is the handbook of the Budo Ryu Kai, which anyone who's in the organization knows that. But this book is someone looking down on those 7 tools and talking about the essence meaning of all of that. It's a deeper look, a much deeper look than any one of those tools. It's all of the tools together and how you can use them together and how that in itself is the reason that we study and practice and train it the way we do. So this book itself is definitely a deeper look into what it is that we're doing. And I think anybody that is part of the Budo Ryu Kai should definitely have this book. Like I said, it definitely is, it is handwritten, so it is a journal. So I just handwrite it all. So the first 7 chapters, that's why there's no pictures. There are pictures, but the pictures that are in those 7 chapters are drawings or things that I've done, or my drawing isn't great, by the by. But they are drawings and things that I've put in there that I think are important to know about those particular 7 chapters. However, the pictures are going to be towards the end, and we'll have kind of like I didn't even make it a chapter, I just put a bunch of pictures in the back that generalize and talk about the things that are in the first 7 chapters. So that is going to be the Kage-No-Sho, or the Book of Shadows. And if you think about what a shadow is, the shadow is something that's standing right next to the object. There's something that is right next to the object that is created because light is cast on it, right? And if you think about that deeper meaning, you think about the essence of how a shadow is cast, what a shadow is, how the shadow is attached to the individual. Take that deep thought, that inner meaning of that, and then apply that to the meaning of this book, Kage-No-Sho, the Book of Shadows, the shadow that's cast from the ninjutsu training that we have here within the Budo Ryu Kai. And I think that's very deep. And that type of philosophy, that type of mentality, is what you're going to need when you read this book. Because if you read it 1, 2, 3, you can read it 1, 2, 3, but you won't get as much out of it unless you really think what's behind these words. What are the essence? What's the meaning? Now, I've told you guys that the book would be released on Samhain, Halloween. And there, without doubt, the book should have been released that day. The book is done. It is completed. There was no reason why it was not available for sale on Halloween. What had happened, which is, I don't know if it's really my fault or anybody's fault, it's just a little presumptuous of me, I guess. I assumed that when I was going to send the files to the publisher that it would be the same way that I've done with all my other books. I just assumed that it would be, here's the, make it in Word, from Word, put it into a PDF, from PDF, change a few things, upload it the way that they want it, whether it's like, the way the size of the paper, the margins and things like that, and then get it to the publisher, and the publisher can take it and make books and sell the books to all of you guys. I just assumed it would be kind of along those lines. The way that they want the file is different than the way that they've wanted the files previous, for my previous book. Now, I should have expected that because they've done this now 2 or 3 times. So every time I make a book, they tend to change the way that they want the files. So I should have expected that. However, I just didn't, I wasn't thinking, and I just assumed that it's going to be, this is how it's going to do it. So Halloween was on Tuesday, and I just assumed I was going to wake up Monday morning and, crank it out and upload it and get it going, and then make it available for sale on Tuesday. So I did wait until the day before, because on this side of the camera, the book is done. There's the file on my computer. It's ready to roll. But I got going and I noticed that, okay, well then I need to make some changes to the files, so on and so forth, and to get it for their printers so that they can publish it. And that's me fumbling the ball, so I do apologize for that. The book will be available this coming weekend, so it will be the first weekend of November. It will definitely be available by the end of this weekend. So please keep up with me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, wherever it is. If you guys are watching this video after the first week of November, there will be a link in the comment section. Go through the comment section and I'll have a link to the book. I'll probably put a link to the book in the description as well. But all the information to get the book will be in the comment section or in the link in the description, or both. I have a lot going on this particular week that doesn't allow me to be able to just get to it right now. Which I will make another video about some of the things that's going on in the Kuden page, which we have a private student Kuden page, and I'll make a video for that particular page so the students can get a little bit more behind the scenes on that one. But for this particular video, which is going to be the public video for YouTube, you guys need to just know that the first week in November, I do plan on having that book out. I don't foresee any reason why it would not be out. If something does come up to where that's not going to happen, please, like I said, I'll post something on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, so on and so forth. But I do expect for that book to be out. I do appreciate everyone's love and support. I deeply appreciate it. You know, honestly, when I started the Budo Ryu Kai back in 2004, and I've said this so many times, and I say it because I just truly mean it, you know. When I started the Budo Ryu Kai back in 2004, it was pretty cut dry. You're either part of this one organization or a couple of others, but really a strong one. And if you wasn't part of this this basic idea, then you were just wrong. Everyone else is wrong except for this idea over here. And if you want to attach that idea in some way, then you're just wrong. And here I am over here, you know, and I'm like, I don't agree with the idea, you know. I never thought that the school would be as big as it is. I never thought that I would be a name in every ninjutsu forum all over the world, and people talking about the Budo Ryu Kai and, you know, Anshu, Christa, Jacobson, and all that kind of thing. And so on one hand, it's really nice to be recognized for your hard work. On the other hand, it kind of sucks that, you know, when you put your name out there and your face out there as much as I do, you know, it makes it an easy target for people that have a low self-esteem and very little skill, so they tend to fight with the keyboard rather than, you know, act appropriately. However, for all of you guys through all of these years that have shown me love and support, I deeply appreciate it. I greatly appreciate it, and thank you. I appreciate it. My family appreciates it. The dojo appreciates it, and I'm going nowhere. So I just want to give you guys a big hug. And just say thank you guys very much for all of your love and support. I deeply appreciate it. I got more books coming out. Once this book comes out in the first weekend of November, there will be a re-release of all my new books. And I want to briefly go over that in this particular video as well, okay? As far as let's start with the Kokoru Kempo Heiho Densho. In that book, there's a few, I've noticed there's a few grammatical mistakes that I would like to fix. It's not a big deal. And there are a few kanji that are flipped in the wrong spot at the end of the book, which I kind of believe it's in the bibliography section, or it's in the very last, the footnotes section of the book. It's not actually in the chapters of the book. There are some kanji that are flipped in the footnotes section in the back of the book. I have a subsection in the back that kind of has all the footnotes there. So that will be changed for those of you guys who have the Kokoru Kempo Heiho Densho. And if that doesn't bother you one damn bit, then there's not really going to be a reason to get that book when I put out the second edition of that book. The it's the Budo Ryu Kai Shinobi Zukan, right? Which the Shinobi Zukan is the first 10 years of the Budo Ryu Kai. There are things, the book is just, I can make the book much more inexpensive for all of you if I cut the pages down by 10. Like it drops in price dramatically. And the book, I think, is, it's a good couple hundred pages, 200 pages, 240 pages. It's a pretty big book. So the book itself, if you guys do not have the Budo Ryu Kai Shinobi Zukan, basically what it is I go through every year, the first 10 years of the Budo Ryu Kai, 2004, 2005, 2006, and I talk about the greatest thing that happened that year, the things that I learned, and the worst shit that possibly happened, all the hate, all the crap that I caught that year and all that. And I go through it. I basically here it is. Here's the first 10 years of Budo Ryu Kai. All the mud and shit people slung at me. Here's what happened in 2004. Here was my response and why. Here's what happened in 2005. Here's my response and why. And I went through all of that from 2004 to 2014. So that book will change only in the sense of I'm going to take away 10 pages. It is loaded full of pictures, full of images. So if you guys already have the book, I don't know that you need to get the second edition of that book. The only thing that's going to change is I'm going to subtract images to take the book down 10 pages. That way I can make the book much more inexpensive for all of you. But I'm not going to touch the text. The text is good. There's nothing wrong with that. The information's solid. I'm just simply subtracting images to get the book down to make it much more inexpensive for you guys. The next book, Tomoru Shinobi Jutsu Shoden no Maki, that book is going to be a definitive change. I'm going to place a few more pictures of the scrolls in that book that I have not shown anybody. I'm going to, I don't know that there's any spelling or grammatical errors with that particular book. I don't know that there's a lot of images will be swapped out, right? I don't want to change the number of pages of the book. I don't want to change it from that perspective. So there are a few images that I would like to change in the book to make it a much more solid book. And there are footnotes and some additional knowledge that I will be adding to the footnotes section of the book. From the chapter's perspective, that will be the same. But if you guys would like to get the new version of the Tomoru Shinobi Jutsu Shoden no Maki, that one I do think will have enough in it to where you guys would want to get the new updated book, because there is information and images that will make that book a much more stronger a much more stronger piece in your guys' ninjutsu library. The Shinobi no Michi. As you guys know, the Shinobi no Michi, when it first came out, just loaded full of controversy. So I said, fuck it. I put it private to students only. And that was number 2. I immediately was edition number 2, students only, like the day after the book was taken down, or 2 days after, something like that. There was things that I needed to edit inside the book. So there became, edition number 3, because every time you change the book, now it's the 3rd edition. I am changing the book. I'm going to make it available to the public, so the Shinobi no Michi 4th edition will be available for the public. Hopefully I will get that out in this month, in November as well. It'll definitely be out before the holidays. Like I said, this book was just loaded with controversy when it first came out. Anything that I think that was controversial about the book, what was it, 2011, 2012, when that book came out, I don't know that I'm taking anything out. So for those of you guys, from that perspective, so anything that you guys might have heard or whatever that people were talking about with that book, certain things, they just are what they are. The book is the book. But there will be changes made. The book was massive. When I first made that book, it was like 550 pages roughly. Again, when you make a book that big, it makes it just so expensive. And I'm trying to make it a little bit inexpensive for everybody. I don't know how much I'm going to change from the 3rd edition to the 4th to make it available for the public. There will be changes, but for those of you guys who do not have the Shinobi no Michi, which is the Way of the Ninja, you guys can purchase that book as well. Like I said, hopefully I'll have it out by the end of this month, November, but I do plan on having that out by the end, before the holiday. What else is there? There's the Budo Ryu Kai Jikiden, which is the study manual that you guys should all have the Jikiden 10 times over by now, because you guys need that book. And then this new book, the KAGE-NO-SHO. So I think that pretty much covers all of my books and my approach towards all of them. I will be changing the covers on the new editions because I think it's easier when I look at the cover and say, yep, that one is an older version. The new cover looks like this. So even though you guys might see a different cover on the book, that's because it's a new edition, and I'm going to know in my head what the newest release of that book is. So there will be new covers. Whether you guys buy the new editions or not, the cover will change. So there's that. Anyway, thank you guys again for all the love and support. Those are the books that will be released. The new book, which is the KAGE-NO-SHO, or the Book of Shadows, will be released this weekend, the first weekend of November. Following that, we'll have the Shinobi no Michi, the 4th edition, which will be made available to the public sometime this month, or hopefully before the holidays. And then the Kokoro Kenpo and Tomoru Shinobi Jutsu Shoden no Maki will also have some changes to those books, as well the Budo Ryu Kai Shinobi Zukan. So, that was a whole bunch, wasn't it? Thank you guys very much for all of your love and support. I deeply appreciate it. Until next time, take care, be safe, and good luck in your journey of Budo. Blessed be.